redefine life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, listeners? This is your boy, Brother Leon, and you are tuning into another episode of the Brother Leon Show. So today, we are going to have Get Fit with Jaye today. We have her returning, and I am so glad that she is returning. That's the God knows truth. Yes. Because the last time we had her on the show, man, I'm not going to lie, man, it was very interesting talking about the vegan lifestyle and how a person can enter into that and the different types of vegans. And so today we're going to have her back. She's going to talk about how you can change your overall health and boost up your immune system just by changing your diet. So we're going to talk about high blood pressure. We're going to talk about sugar diabetes. And we're also going to talk about the philosophy of conviction versus motivation. So guys, I'm telling you today, we are going to have on here today a phenomenal woman. She is a gift from God. So guys, I want to introduce you to Jaye Struthers, Get Fit with Jaye. So
thank you.
So hey, what's been going on since the last time we talked?
Well, I've just been laying low, trying not to have too much interaction with the public, as most of us are doing right now. I've been coaching people who are trying to work on strengthening their immunity and, the normal things. People are still out here trying to lose weight, deal with chronic illnesses and things like that. So I've just been coaching and doing things I normally do, mostly through Zoom, some in person. But I've just been trying to keep a low profile as far as contact and, with social distancing and everything.
Yeah, I feel you on that one because it just seemed like everybody got lax. I'm like, what is going on, people?
Yeah, because everyone was tired, this thing came out of nowhere, and then we had to kind of change our whole lifestyle, and then it seemed the restrictions eased up, and then everyone just kind of lost their mind for a minute, but we're tightening it back up, so Hopefully everyone will stay safe.
Yeah. So, hey, for those who haven't been introduced to you, I just want to ask you the same question like I asked you before. Who are you?
Well, my name is Jamila. My clients and friends and family call me Jaye. I am a plant-based nutritionist. I believe in the plant-based method as far as reversing or preventing chronic illnesses that plague the Black community disproportionately. This diet can be used, of course, by anyone, but we're affected mostly by heart disease and certain illnesses in our community. And I'm just a person who wants to let everyone know that this is available to you. It's not about money. It's not about, where you live. It's not about who you know. This is available to everyone. If you are a person who can implement things and can adapt to change, you can level up your way of living, way of eating, way of thinking instantaneously. It doesn't matter how much money you have or who you know.
Wow. Thank you for that. So the last time you were on the show, you talked about conviction versus motivation. So I want to bring that back up, and I want to ask you, can you elaborate on the saying conviction being greater than motivation?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is a lot of times when I go out to speak, normally they feel really pumped up, they feel really motivated, and they tell me, I'm gonna change my life. When I go home, I'm changing everything. I'm gonna start exercising. I'm gonna start eating plants like you said. I'm gonna get this thing together, and they're all pumped up and they're all motivated. And then if I see those same people, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, they're back to their same routine. Why? Because motivation is fleeting. Motivation doesn't stay. When you first get that information, yeah, you're pumped up. But what you need to do at that time is create dedication and non-negotiables and core values, because you can rely on your core values. And with your core values and your non-negotiables, you can create a discipline which will give you the conviction that you need. We all need, when you believe in something and you have an unshakable belief that this is the way I'm going to do it and this is how I'm going to get through this, and no matter what happens, I'm going to stick to what I decided to do because this is what's good for me. It doesn't matter if you feel motivated or not. A lot of times when I get up to go to the gym at 5 a.m., I don't feel motivated, but it is a core value and it's non-negotiable. So it doesn't bend and move according to how I feel.
Wow, I like that. I definitely, that is definitely a jewel. So thank you for those words of wisdom. So, we're just going to go right into the meat of this. How can diet turn around, some of the ills in the Black community, like sugar diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol? Because the one thing that I see in our community are the food deserts. So how can we turn this whole thing around with a plant-based diet, even in the midst of being in a food desert?
Okay, well, number one is we have to bear in mind that it's not as expensive as they would like for us to believe. One of the things that hold a lot of people back is the belief that they will suffer through this crisis of getting healthy by spending all their money on healthy food, and that it's going to be tasteless and they're not going to like it. It's going to be dull. So as far as the food desert, most cities, they have a local grocery store. And the problem with the local grocery store is, no, it's not going to be like the Whole Foods. You're not going to get the Swiss chard and the bok choy, but at the very minimum, you can get some spinach and some kale. The way we start to reverse, let's say, diabetes, is to start to eliminate all of the things that was causing insulin resistance. So diabetes is caused by insulin resistance. It's a metabolic disease, which means something in the metabolism process is failing, right? So when you begin to eat all these processed foods, all these things with high caloric intake, it causes your blood sugar to raise up. And what your body does to compensate for that is it will begin to produce more insulin to try to level you out. But what happens is once it produces so much insulin, it can't keep up. It can't keep up with the demand that you're requiring to what was the word I'm looking for? To get your blood glucose level stable. Okay. So then the cells will start to wear out, and the pancreas won't be able to produce as much insulin as it was before. And this is how insulin resistance is caused, right? So what you need to do is eat things that are not high in sugar, that are not processed, that won't have your body trying to produce so much insulin. That's whole foods, that's, of course, plants, that's grains, that's things that aren't refined, that's, basically just whole foods. So even if you are in a food desert, however you were going to get to McDonald's or however you were going to get to Wendy's, make your way to the grocery store. And if you were going to have Uber Eats delivered, have Uber take you to the grocery store and pick some food up, because it's vital that we get our health together in our community.
Yes, definitely. Also, the local farmers market, if there is one.
Yeah, there's a local. I highly doubt if there's a local farmers market in, the neighborhoods that they intentionally try to keep healthy foods out of. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, needless to say, they're not trying to give us fresh produce and things of that nature. So we have to be diligent about trying to go out and get it ourselves. Okay. Also, along with eating healthy, we have to start exercising. Yes. We have to, smoking causes more insulin. We have to start getting more rest. And some doctors believe that you can't cure diabetes, but you can put it into remission to the point where you never have to take insulin again. So we have a very flawed methodology about, counting calories, or we're going to do keto, or we're going to take these shortcuts. And it does work for the short reaction. So you go to your doctor, you have lost the weight, your A1C levels are looking good, because your A1C levels basically just shows the last 3 months of how your sugar has been, as far as if it's been up or down, has it been stable? And so those things may look good because you've been counting your calories and you've been doing this keto. But the thing is that your biology to your liver and your muscle haven't changed. The goal is to make your body more insulin sensitive. So if you're avoiding carbohydrates, you're not really changing anything as far as insulin sensitivity. Does that make sense?
Break that down, because I know that's been the whole thing. We got to eliminate carbs. Can't have nothing white. No white bread, no white rice, no white potatoes. So break it down.
So, okay. So when people say carbohydrates are macronutrients, fat, protein, carbohydrates. Those are macros.
Okay.
We need carbohydrates for energy, but there's not just one carbohydrate. The carbohydrate that you want to avoid is the refined carbohydrate. That's where they have stripped these carbohydrates of their nutrients. So when you strip, let's say, the bread of its bran and things of that nature, now you have white bread.
Okay.
When you eat these carbohydrates, it goes straight to your bloodstream because you don't have the fiber to stop it. So the fiber is what slows it down and basically makes it drip into your bloodstream at a slow level where your insulin can take its time. So a little sugar, a little insulin, a little sugar, a little insulin. When that fiber is stripped, it goes straight to your bloodstream, and the insulin has to rush to your bloodstream in order to interact with that to stop your levels from rising too fast.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. I don't want to make it too complicated. So that's why we say no refined carbohydrates, because it doesn't have the fiber and the nutrients. It's basically pure sugar.
Okay.
And pure sugar elevates your sugar in your blood too fast.
Okay.
And it forces the insulin to react too fast.
Okay.
And that's what creates insulin resistance. So basically, when you're trying to reverse or put diabetes into remission, we want to create insulin sensitivity, which means we want your body to be able to react to carbohydrates as natural as possible. So when you avoid carbohydrates, you're not helping the insulin sensitivity. You're just avoiding it. Mm-hmm. So you still have insulin resistance. Is that?
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, when you start being able to eat a whole food plant-based diet, and your body can start metabolizing carbohydrates properly, that's the goal. That's the goal. Let's not avoid carbohydrates. Let's avoid the carbohydrates that don't work in tandem with what you're trying to do, which is reverse your diabetes.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So if it's stripped, then it's not good, if I could say that.
Exactly. If it's stripped, it's not good. And one of the things marketing and everything, they're really tricky with the way they package things. You'll go and see bread and it says wheat bread.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me grab this wheat bread, and you put it in your cart. We have to start reading labels. We have to start reading. I cannot stress this enough, because what wheat bread could really mean is they have wheat in the bread. It doesn't mean that it's 100% whole wheat bread. That just means we have wheat. It'll say 100% wheat on the front, because they have 100% wheat in the bread, along with sugar, milk, and everything else.
Okay.
So it's a tricky way to package things to make you believe that you're doing the right thing. We have to be diligent with reading labels. We have to get diligent and flipping that over because we know that this is a marketing campaign. This bread is competing with this bread. And so whatever is catchy on the front, they want to draw you in if you're trying to be health conscious.
Okay.
So we need to start reading.
Okay. Yeah, because I always thought, okay, if it says wheat bread, then it's wheat bread. I've always thought that. I'm like, all right.
No, that just means wheat is in the bread.
Wheat is in the
bread. Normally, if the wheat bread is $2 or $3, it's probably not the bread you want because like the bread that you normally get that doesn't have any sugar, salt, milk, and all that different stuff, it's a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
I usually get like a 7-grain bread. There's a brand called Ezekiel bread, and it's usually about $5 or $6 a bag.
Okay.
Because they don't have the salt and sugar and things like that to have a long shelf life, so they sell it at a higher price. That's just one of the things that's a little bit more expensive. But as far as the produce and things like that, that's not expensive at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So let me ask you this. Okay, what is it that you need to flip? What is it on the back of the package that you need to look for to know that, okay, this is not 100%, or this is the fake wheat bread?
This is what you need to know. We buy things in packages not because we can't do it ourselves. It's because we don't want to. So the thing about it is we don't want to go home and make bread. But if you look at the package, you should be able to emulate that. Okay. It should be everything that you could just grab those ingredients and make yourself if you wanted to. When you start seeing things that you can only go to a lab and get, that's not what you want in your body. If you don't recognize it, if you don't know what it is, you can't pronounce it. So, for instance, if you get some wheat bread and it says, okay, wheat flour, 100% wheat flour. Oh, okay, I can grab that. All right, yeast. Okay, I can grab that.
Yeah.
Okay, a little salt. I can do that. So now you know what these things are. But when you start seeing these different potassium sorbate, guar gum, and all these different things, you don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So avoid those things. Because we should be able to emulate whatever is on our package if we wanted to.
Okay. So in other words, it's like if you can't pronounce it, don't buy it. If it's Monsanto,
if you don't know what it is. Yes, exactly. Why are you putting things in your body you can't even pronounce?
Yeah, exactly. So talk to us. What about high blood pressure?
So high blood pressure. It's all of it basically, if you follow the same regimen, relieving yourself of processed food, relieving yourself of added sugars, dairy, all of these different things, your blood pressure will naturally come down.
Okay.
We've been led astray when we go to the doctor and they tell us, you need this high blood pressure medication. All it is a symptom that they're stopping from showing up. They're stopping the symptom. When the problem really is that we are consuming too much sugar that's plaquing up our arteries, too much cholesterol that's plaquing up our arteries. And then another thing they don't tell us is that cholesterol is a silent killer that causes stroke, heart attack, heart disease, diabetes. And we don't need cholesterol outside of what we already make to live. We don't need animal cholesterol. We produce enough cholesterol in our bodies to actually live. We don't need an egg. We don't need anything because our body produces its own cholesterol. But what happens is we start eating animal products. We start eating eggs, all these different things, sugar, and then it starts to narrow our arteries, cause plaque buildup. And now we have heart disease. Now we're having strokes. Now we're having heart attacks. And the blood flow has decreased. And one of the things that people don't realize is that you get signs that your blood flow is decreasing, especially for men. Yeah. With men, I hope some men are listening to this. Listen to me closely. If you are in your late 30s, early 40s, and you are starting to experience erectile dysfunction, that is one of the first signs that your blood flow is decreasing. That is the first sign of heart disease. That is the first sign of narrowing of your arteries. So they say 40% of men in their 40s have some form of erectile dysfunction. Why? Because the arteries are starting to narrow.
Wow.
So it's not an isolated thing. When you think of heart disease, we think heart. No, it's your arteries everywhere in your body. That means even the blood flow from the tip of your toe to the top of your head, all of those arteries are starting to have less blood flow.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to start cutting out the animal products because animals have their own cholesterol. They have their own, and now they're starting to, well, not starting to, they've been giving the animals antibiotics. So now if something happens to you where you need an antibiotic, you may be antibiotic resistant or immune because you've been eating antibiotics every day without even realizing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So one of the things to decrease, now, with the plaque in your arteries, it does take time. It's not one of those things, I go plant-based, and then a month later, my arteries are all free and clear. It doesn't work like that. It takes years to start to put the plaque, start to let the plaque build up, decrease. But what instantly happens is that when you start on a plant-based diet, that cholesterol buildup is stopping. So you're not necessarily getting rid of the plaque right away, but you are stopping the plaque from building up any further.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Does what's the word I'm looking for? Circulation problems. Are circulation problems also, say, you sitting down and all of a sudden your left leg just starts going to sleep? Is that an indication that there's problems and things going on?
Yes, absolutely. So that is an indicator. Also, Charlie horses and things of that nature to indicate dehydration. Okay. It could simply be dehydration. Most people, if you're not intentionally drinking half your body weight in ounces every single day, you're dehydrated for the most part. You have to be very intentional about getting water into your body hydrating because things like that, your legs falling asleep, Charlie horses, headaches, we can't decide if it's circulation problem or you're just dehydrated. So best thing is to start with drinking half your body weight in water every single day.
Okay.
But yes, your legs falling asleep, that could be a circulation issue because your plaque, the blood is not getting to where it needs to be.
Okay. All right. I know, when we first interviewed and I had you on the show the first time, you told me about the different types of vegans. Can you tell us about that again, the different types of vegan? Because I was thinking about the junk food vegans, and I remember what you said about it.
All right. Well, then I'll start with junk food vegans. So junk food vegans, because I'll see people say, well, if they're vegan, how are they still overweight? If they're vegan, how are they still, have diabetes or something like that? And this is how junk food vegans, all vegan is, it's the absence of animal products in your diet. So Oreos are vegan, pop, that's vegan, potato chips vegan, French fries, onion rings. So as long as it's not an animal product in their diet, they feel fine with it. They're not doing it for health purposes.
Okay.
Junk food vegans typically don't want to harm animals. So they don't want to be a part of any type of harming of any type of animal. They're not doing it necessarily for health. Okay. So as long as the animal was not harmed in the process, they're okay with what they eat. So that's a junk food vegan. They just eat anything that doesn't have animal products in there. And that is an array. There's an array of junk food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we have the raw food vegans. So the raw food vegans are vegans who don't, of course, all vegans are no animal products, which means dairy, no fish, no meat, anything of that nature.
Yeah.
But everything is raw. Nothing is cooked. They typically eat, just like vegetables. They eat soup, but the soup is not heated. It's just a room temperature soup. It's just everything is just raw. Nothing is processed at all.
Okay.
That's a raw food vegan. People who have cancer typically go to this diet. And it's been known to reverse certain illnesses. There's actually a raw food vegan community in Michigan. And I know a person personally who had breast cancer who went to this community. She did not get chemotherapy. I believe she got radiation and went with the raw food diet. And everything in that community is just purely raw. Even the food that they grow, the soil is not regular soil. They literally have it shipped somewhere where it's unfiltered, unprocessed, uncontaminated with any pesticides, everything. So that's a raw food vegan. And then we have the ethical vegan, which is a person who, of course, doesn't eat animal products, and they don't wear leather or any type of animal products at all.
Okay.
No animal is used as a commodity in their life, such as circuses or SeaWorld or zoos or anything like that. Animals are not used for entertainment. They're not used for any type of merchandise in their life. Everything is like a faux leather, and there's no type of animal entertainment. That's an ethical vegan. And then there's a whole food plant-based vegan, which I am, as well as an ethical vegan. And that means that your diet is whole food, not like the store. Don't get confused and go to the store and get whole foods, buy anything there thinking that it's good for you. No, they have junk food too. Whole food just simply means that everything you eat is as unmanipulated as possible. Rice is just rice. There's no rice mixed with salt, sugar, nothing. So what you see basically is what you get. You eat spinach, that's spinach. You eat, swashar, that's swashar. You eat lentils, that's lentils. So everything is as unmanipulated as possible, as much plants as possible, fruits, grains, legumes and things of that nature. That's a whole food plant-based vegan.
Okay. All right. Thank you for breaking that down.
You're welcome.
Seriously, because, I've always wondered, I'm like, man, there's so many different types, but thank you for really opening up my eyes to it. Thank you for opening up our eyes to it.
You're welcome.
So I want to talk about beauty products, because I know the last time you were on the show, we started to delve into that. How can we begin to really start, when it comes to soaps and things that we put on our body? Because a lot of times we really don't think about our skin. So how is it that we can really start thinking about our skin and having healthy skin?
All right. So healthy skin honestly starts from within. Okay. Being hydrated. That's the number one beauty product is water. To get clear, healthy skin is hydrate. I cannot say that enough. As far as soap and beauty products, the same thing applies. So I use the same rule for my beauty products as I do for my food. I don't want a bunch of perfumes. I read labels. For my skin, I just use a shea butter or an essential, like an oil with essential oils. Very natural products. Mm-hmm. Not falling for labels once again, because you may see this package that says healthy products and shea butter and coconut oil, and then you turn around, there's perfume, there's dyes, and all this different stuff. And that stuff, when you put it on your skin, goes into your bloodstream. Yeah. So I am just as much adamant about what I put on my skin as what I put inside my body, because that is actually what you are putting inside your body, what you put on your skin. Just try to keep it as simple as possible. Oils, shea butter, just natural things. for your face. I know some people use witch hazel. I use a natural soap, Dr. Bronner's. There's other brands, of course, but that's the kind I use. And I go to a natural health food store to get the things that I use for beauty products because it's more simple. The other stuff, I mean, it's spread about here and there. But if you go to a more concentrated place that focuses more on health, it's easier to kind of navigate your way to find what you need versus going somewhere like a big grocery store. Now you have to look through all this stuff. But for me, it's just easier to go to something that already has that, ideology that you should focus on health. And so when you go into the beauty lane, you have like this small content to choose from.
Yeah, definitely a whole lot of small content. I was thinking when you were talking about shea butter, I was like, man, I remember, man, we were young, and I mean, we would just, Vaseline, that's it.
Everything. Yeah, and now you have to choose from all these different things, and I just strongly, because skin is important, it's healthy skin. The healthier it is, the easier it heals, the more it protects, and you really need healthy skin. And not to mention it adds to your confidence when you look in the mirror and your skin is glowing, you feel better about yourself. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely suggest that you stop putting all those perfumes, dyes, all those different things on your skin. It's not good.
Yeah, because I was looking at my body while I was like, man, this looks like that. If I didn't know any better, I swear this was dish detergent. I'm serious.
Yeah, absolutely. They're different names, as well as the deodorant too. I personally, for years, have only used Lime.
Okay.
And it works. I know some people are like, what? No, I can't do that. Because if you think about it, we're putting deodorant to fight something that's natural. When we sweat, it releases toxins from our body. And so when people use deodorant or what's the other name for it that stops you from sweating, antiperspirant, it blocks up those pores and the toxins can't be released. So, my children and I use Lime, but I buy them a natural, so they just refuse to use the Lime. But I buy them a natural deodorant because I don't want aluminum under their arms. I don't want perfume under their arms going right into their glands.
Okay.
So yeah, that's important as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Because when you really start looking at that stuff, like, man, is there any, do I need to be conscious of the deodorant that I'm putting on? Because a lot of times people start using certain deodorants, and then next thing you know, their arms are breaking out, and then they got these black patches, in their armpits. And I'm like, how do you turn that thing around? And it's crazy, just seeing all that. So let me ask you this. I know a lot of times there's been a whole thing about vitamin D. So can you break down, the whole thing about vitamin D? I know right now it's real popular because of coronavirus and keeping the immune system strong. So can you break that down about the proper amount? So
vitamin D when it comes to vitamin D, I'm going to always say natural.
Okay.
You can get it from the sun. You can get it from mushrooms. You can get it from fortified foods, cereals. You can get it mostly on a plant-based diet. You get it from things that are fortified, but the sun is the number one source for vitamin D. You have to be intentional about going out, even in the winter, or even just opening your windows and sitting by the window and getting vitamin D and eating mushrooms. As far as supplements for vitamin D, that's something you would need to ask your doctor. Because what people go out and do, like right now for COVID, is they're getting vitamin D supplements, which if no one told you were deficient in vitamin D, you don't have any business taking any supplements. I'm a huge proponent of no supplements unless you're deficient.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure if we spoke about this on the last podcast.
No, bring it up.
But supplements are overused and overrated. they're not even as bioavailable to your body as you think they are. Basically, what I mean by that is they have been manipulated. And once they're manipulated and extracted from their natural source, your body doesn't even absorb what you think it's absorbing. 90% of it is just passing through. It's, through your waste when you urinate. So it's best to get it the natural way so that your body can absorb it. When you go and buy these vitamin D supplements, you don't even know if you need it. You have to be really careful because what people think is that if you need something, it's good, then more of it will be better. And that's not true. Yeah. If you don't need it, you can be overdoing it, which can actually have that adverse effect. So when you get vitamin D, I can't tell you how much you need because it's just like iron. One person may need 60 milligrams, someone else may need 80 milligrams. Yeah. It depends on how deficient you are. Yeah. So that's something that your doctor should tell you. You shouldn't run into the store and just go and buy vitamin D if you're not deficient in it. I definitely do not suggest that at all.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. What's your thought on some of these? I mean, you were talking about supplements, and what I've seen is people trying to get healthy, trying to really get fit, and then, they go into GNC or they look at a magazine and, they have all of these supplements, fat burner this will, boost testosterone builders and things of that nature. So, in other words, it's like you buy those things and all you're doing is paying $50 and you just, totally just, excuse me for what I'm going to say, you just totally pissing it out.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like I said, unless you're deficient, you're pretty much wasting your time. It's never going to be the way it is from its natural source. Never. Okay. It's been extracted and manipulated, and it's not the same thing. Okay. Two, supplements are not regulated at all. Supplements are not regulated. I can make a supplement and I can start selling it today as long as I say it doesn't cure anything. They don't even know. And if you look at a supplement ingredient list, once again, because I know people are good for buying it without looking at it. No one thinks to look at the ingredients list for supplements, but absolutely you should. Because if you turn around and look at the ingredient list, the first ingredient normally is some type of sugar, then number 2, some type of syrup, then number 3, another type of syrup, and then there's colorants, and then when you get to at the end of the list, what you really have is a bunch of nothing. You pretty much have taken sugar pills with colors and all type of preservatives. You don't want that. You don't want that. So in the event that you do need a supplement, make sure that it's in the integrity of the pill is there, meaning what you need is what you're getting, nothing else. Okay. Nothing else. You don't need tapioca syrup. You don't need syrup of any kind. You don't need glucose. You don't need, you know what I mean? Yeah. They try to make it so appealing and taste so good to people and let's make it purple. Let's make it, throw a dye in there. Let's make it yellow, brighten it up. And we have to be more diligent about what we're putting. I don't care about colors. Yeah. I don't care about taste. It's here to serve a purpose. So if you need vitamin D or if you need, make sure that's what you're getting and none of those additives.
Okay. All right. Because I know a lot of times people are taking the gummies. They're taking the, the liquid ones. And the crazy part is, I'm like, why they got gelatin in this? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then, a lot of plant-based people don't even realize gelatin is even in there. And that is not vegan at all. Yeah, so I'm glad you're looking at the labels. That's so important. Yeah, they have gelatin in there. And it just amazes me how much they take advantage of the fact that people don't read what they're putting in their body. Yeah. There's only a few supplements that if you are plant-based that you do need. B12 is one of them. Okay. That's, B12 is something you do have to supplement. So make sure that if you are plant-based, that you're getting, like I said, one with integrity, not a bunch of junk and gunk in there. But yeah, you don't need to go and buy a once-a-day pill. There's no need for that. Trust me. If you feel like you need more vitamins and minerals, then you need to diversify your plate. Every color represents a vitamin and a nutrient. So eat the rainbow is a real thing. You know, we need the purples, we need the blues, we need the greens, we need all those different things, blueberries and all those different things. And make sure that you're eating a variation of those things, not every day, different colors every day. But if you ate, let's just say green and yellow this day, make sure the next day you're eating some red peppers and things like that. So by the end of the week, you've had all these different vitamins and those are your vitamins and your minerals.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that because, for a minute I knew a friend of mine, he would have this stuff. It was called I forget what it was called. It was called Simple Green. It was Simple Green, and then he had something called Simple Red. It was like all the red vegetables and fruits, and then the green one was all the green vegetables and fruits, and it was a powder and everything. It was like, yeah, I'm getting all my vegetables just in this little powder. I'm gonna drink this drink, and it was crazy because it was real popular for a while there and everything. So
And the one thing I'm going to say about that, the way we eat our food matters.
Okay.
So if you're sauteing your spinach, there's a difference in the benefits you get from that versus raw spinach versus blended spinach. Okay. So if you're just eating a powder, let's say you were getting the benefits, you still need to diversify the way you're eating these things. Okay. Because just chewing food alone releases some of the minerals from vegetables. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So we definitely don't want to just drink a powder every day and think we're doing enough.
Okay. So it's just doing the powder is not enough. You got to actually have
it. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for that. So let me ask you this, because you delved in. Let's talk about cereal, because it's like, man, they say, oh yeah, it has wheat in it, but cereal has all kinds of chemicals, all types of, oh my God, I'm like, if you bought cereal today for your kids, it's like, oh my God, do I really want to bring this into my house?
Right. There's only a couple cereals, honestly, that I would eat. There was one at Whole Foods called Red Engine, but I haven't seen that in a while. And then the type of cereal I eat is shredded wheat with no sugar added or anything. It's literally just shredded wheat. And then I add my own bananas, blueberries, strawberries, and things like that. Most of the cereal, it's not even Cheerios, no. Raisin Bran, no. All that stuff has syrup and sugar and all these different things that you don't want.
Cheerios?
I think, Cheerios, the Honey Nut Cheerios. Oh I don't know. I haven't. Yeah, you thought the Honey Nut Cheerios were healthy?
Yeah, because, they got it on a commercial.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. Commercials. Nothing worth eating usually is on a commercial.
Okay.
The food that we need for a healthy gut and a healthy digestive system, healthy body, period, it usually does not have a commercial. When have you seen a commercial for kale? When have you seen a commercial for beets? When have you seen a commercial for quinoa? You don't. Don't follow commercials, because that's just another marketing strategy.
Okay.
They want to sell you something, so they're going to make it seem appealing and healthy for you. But normally, health food is never on a commercial. I've never seen it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I personally have never seen anything that was healthy on a commercial. Not from my salad dressing to the produce, to the beans, to the nothing. Not even the 7-grain bread. Okay. Nothing.
Okay.
So if you see it on a commercial, that's a good indicator that you probably shouldn't be eating it, honestly.
Wow. Because they was pushing that Honey Nut Cheerios. They had the black father with, and his daughter.
Oh, they're going to push it. Yeah, they're going to push it. They are going to push it. But I'm telling you right now, it's not healthy at all.
Wow. Okay. So thank you for opening up our eyes to that. So let me ask you this. Can you educate us on sweeteners? Because I know that's the big thing, like, stevia, agave, sweet and low. I mean, it's just a whole lot. I mean, if you're a person that is diabetic, can you still use these things? Or if a person that's trying to live a plant-based diet, can they use those things as well?
So as far as sweeteners, I definitely don't suggest the sweet and lows and all of those things because of the aspartame that's in them. Mm-hmm. So none of those, because those have, they've been linked to cancer.
Okay.
So, and it's not a natural sugar at all. It's just some concoction that they've made up. So absolutely no sweet and low, what's the name of them? Equal, yeah, and all of those things. But when you're trying to get off of the added sugar, let me say this first. So no sugar, I don't care what the name of it, is better than any other sugar when it comes to added sugar, such as coconut sugar, brown sugar, turbinado sugar, mm-hmm, cane sugar. They are the same thing. Yeah. Once you start eating, yeah, they're as far as the way your body processes them.
Okay, because
they're not the same sugar.
Yeah, they were saying that cane sugar is healthier, or brown sugar, and they have that 7-Elevens, Wawa's, for those who are trying to go organic.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Tell me who they are when you say they.
I will probably say the FDA.
The FDA.
Yeah.
Okay. So really quick, the FDA has an extremely, when you think of the FDA, you probably picture these people who have our best interest in mind. The FDA has an extremely high turnover rate because of the morality of the way that they handle approving certain things. The FDA approves certain things here that's not even approved in other countries because we are focused on money here.
Okay.
They a lot of the people who get their products approved by the FDA are actually funding the research that they're doing to get approved. So if you're giving someone some money, sponsoring some research, naturally they have the pressure to approve your product, yeah, or say certain things about your product. I do not trust the FDA at all. If the FDA were trustworthy, how are so many different recalls? If you've been taking such and such, if you've been taking such and such, if you've been taking such and such, you have a class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
Right? Those were all approved by the FDA. Okay. All of those things, all those class action lawsuits that you hear of were approved by the FDA.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, when companies make certain products, yeah, they wait till they make millions of dollars first. It's worth being sued because we've already made our money. So we'll pay the class action lawsuit. But that's another story. But as far as the sugar is concerned, the FDA, yeah, the sugar on very, 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 very small doses. Very small doses.
Okay.
And when I say small doses, I mean like maybe once or twice a month, not every day. Okay. But natural sugar, what I mean by that is it occurs naturally. It hasn't been refined. It hasn't been processed, such as in fruit or such as in, maple syrup or raw honey or raw agave. And then there's the stevia plant. You can use that. That's the closest thing that I would say. But the taste, a lot of people, it doesn't taste like the sugar that they know. But no, it doesn't equal or, the other one. So I would say the sweet and low. So stevia is the closest thing that I would suggest because that actually does come from a plant. But you have to make sure that the company that you buy it from hasn't started adding different alcohols in there to make it sweeter or, to extend how much that they can, use and spread it out as far as possible. So just make sure that if you do buy the stevia, that it is actually just stevia from the stevia plant and not some concoction that they kind of made with stevia.
Okay.
To kind of, fool you. And then from that point, the goal is to start to reduce the amount you even need sweetener. Yeah. there's always a goal to start reducing the reduction method. So if you're a person that started with 5 packs of sugar in your coffee, now you're using stevia. That's wonderful, and that's something to be proud of. But eventually, you want to get to the point where maybe you aren't drinking as much coffee every day, and you don't even use the stevia, because our body does not need excess amount of sugar in it, even if it's natural.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So, you just mentioned coffee. What about some of these herbal teas? Are herbal teas, is that good for those who are looking to go into the whole plant-based diet and lifestyle?
Teas are, I definitely use teas. They're good for a number. I mean, anything you can possibly think of: sleep, headache, digestion, everything. You want to avoid consuming too much tea every day. Okay. But there's different kinds of teas. You have teas with. I was drinking a digestion tea every day. It had daffodils. It had all these different plants in there. Okay. Rose. It had I can't remember everything, but I have a ton of teas here. Teas with lemon, teas with, have green tea. So I definitely have orange peels, lemon peels, all those different things. Yeah, they're definitely good. They relax you. Heat is always good in our body. Loosens up the mucus. It relaxes you. Gives you good sleep. So I definitely believe, especially in herbal tea.
Okay. All right. What I'm hearing right now on the inside is to ask you about inflammation. So how can a person start to really reverse and really, work on getting that inflammation out their body?
Okay, hydration, number one. Okay. You have to start hydrating. That's a natural detox. You hear so much about detox, but water is the number one detox. Unprocess your diet. Processed foods cause so much inflammation in your body, as well as the dairy and the sugar. Sugar is extremely inflammatory. Okay. When it comes to inflammatory, and honestly, if you have an autoimmune disease, such as arthritis, there's honestly certain vegetables too that causes. Like, I have a friend of mine who has arthritis, and she can't eat any nightshade vegetables. So that's like no peppers, green peppers, red peppers, anything like that. Okay. But mostly getting off the meat, sugar, and dairy. At the Black Health Academy, we call it SOS, salt, oil, sugar. Those are the things that people are highly addicted to that causes inflammation in our body. And our body is just trying to fight off all these different things. And because of that, you're starting to swell up, you're starting to feel achy. Mm-hmm. And it's because of your diet. So start replacing the meat in your diet with more plants. Okay. Start replacing the pop or any type of drink in your diet with water, herbal teas, smoothies, and your inflammation will decrease. I can't even tell it quickly. On top of that, it will decrease very, very quickly. What may happen, though, is when people start to eat better, when your body starts, it depends on how bad your diet was before. But if you have a highly processed diet or a diet with a lot of meat and sugar or, things of that nature, caffeine, the detox process may have you feeling a little crappy at first. Your nose may start draining, your eyes, may start running, you may get headaches, because your body is getting rid of all this stuff at once. So the best thing to do before you start to try to transition is start to eat a little better first. So maybe stop the caffeine. Don't stop the caffeine, the meat, the sugar, all at once, because that's a lot, and you may feel crappy. But start to slowly reduce those things, and the inflammation will naturally come down.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. We have the holidays coming up. So, people are saying, hey, I want to go into the whole vegan lifestyle, but, Thanksgiving is around the corner. Christmas is around the corner. How can I make vegetarian meals, with the holidays? Do I have to put the smoked turkey in the greens? Can I get away with something else? I'm serious, because people be tripping, man. Yo, you messing this up. I can't have my macaroni. I can't have my candied yams.
Oh, trust me, I've been there and lived. I've been living this a long time. So the thing about the holidays is that you can have some of your traditional meals with a twist. So say, for instance, you like yams. You bring the yams. Just don't put all that sugar in there.
Okay.
Find you some yams and take the yams like you normally do, but you can't pour all of that sugar into it. If you like greens, make the greens and maybe get a smoked flavor. Like I have a hickory smoked flavor I put into my greens. I mean, there's a way. You don't just have to sit there and eat a salad. I brought a cashew macaroni and cheese. Now, will everyone embrace it? No. Everyone will not embrace it. They may taste it. They may say they don't like it. And that's fine, because you've done your job. You're eating the way you're supposed to eat, and you're introducing the people around you to possibly, a plant-based lifestyle. If they become interested down the road, that's fine. But at least you planted the seed so that they know that that's available to them. Because a lot of people believe the only thing in a plant-based lifestyle is salad. Salad and misery, basically. Yeah. And then and it's so much more than that. Now we have these different restaurants with, we have, black bean burgers, and we have pastas, and we have even chili dogs. I wouldn't recommend that on a daily basis, but let's just say for the holiday, you can eat, there's a tofu turkey, and I swear it does not taste like it sounds. It's actually good. It has its gravy. Okay. I swear. I know that does not taste, that doesn't sound that desirable, but it really is good. And, you can make the dressing just without the meat. So, you just have to alter the way you used to eat a little bit. If you made a pasta, let's say a spaghetti or something.
Yeah.
Just, you don't use the meat in there. You can still use the noodles and the pasta, saute some peppers and some onions and put the sauce on there, because the goal is to keep the inflammation down, to keep our arteries free and clear, to keep our brains functioning, because our brains can't operate off of all of that sugar and inflammation. Yes. You can't think straight. One of the first things some psychologists and therapists tell you to do before you come to see them to think clearly is to hydrate. So your thoughts can flow. Our diet affects everything we do, everything we think. There's not one single place you can go that you don't take your body with you. You can't say, I'm not feeling good, I'm going to leave my body at home. That's the first mode of transportation. So you have to take care of your body. You need your body for every single thing. So even if it inconveniences you a little bit, it's worth it down the road and even now to learn how to live an optimal life without all of that stress that you put on your body just because something tastes good at the moment.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I'm serious, because, a lot of people are tripping, man. Yo, the holidays, we dealing with COVID, and man, I'm gonna just get it in. So
okay, and one more thing about the holidays. So let's just say on the holidays you did get it in. You say, you know what, I'm not doing none of that. I'm going to eat all this macaroni. I'm going to eat all of these different things. Fine. If you do that, your very next meal, just make your very next meal back to business.
Okay.
Because it's not about doing everything 100% right. It's really not. It's about doing the right thing for the most part. Mm-hmm. So don't get discouraged or get this tastes so good, I'm going to do this tomorrow. No, if you ate, let's say, some cake on the holiday, just don't eat cake tomorrow, the next day, the next week. Just jumped right back on track.
Okay.
So don't even let that affect your next meal. I'm talking about the very next meal, the very next day, or even that night.
Yeah.
Eat the way you're supposed to eat, even if you messed up.
Let me ask you this: what about alcoholic beverages like wine?
It depends on where you are in your journey. Are you trying to lose weight? What are your goals? Like, I drink wine.
Okay.
I'm at the maintenance level. When I was trying to lose weight and I was trying to lose body fat, I did not drink at all.
Oh, okay.
So, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where to get to where you need to be, some of the things you have to let go for a while. And then you can get back to the maintenance level where, okay, I can drink some wine. I can have some alcohol. One of my clients told me, I'm going to do what you told me to do, but I'm not going to stop drinking. I said, okay, well, you're not going to get the result. You're not going to get the result. Yeah, look me dead in my eye and told me that's a no for me.
Oh, my God.
You know
what I'm picturing right now? I'm picturing you kicking shots out somebody's head.
It's so frustrating because you want these results, but you don't want to do what it takes to get them.
Yeah.
So I can't make you not drink. I can't. I can only suggest, because all of that sugar is turning into fat.
Okay.
So it's slowing down the process so much. Not to mention, discipline is a muscle that we have to strengthen. The more you tell yourself no, the more you get better at it. So when you go into situations, you're so used to saying, no, thank you, I'll pass, to where temptation doesn't override your goals or your core values, because you're used to being disciplined. You're used to having non-negotiables. No, I don't eat that. I don't do that. I remember one time a lady said, oh, I can relate to you. I don't eat beef. I don't eat beef. I don't eat beef. I don't eat beef. And then we all went outside where there was a free barbecue. And the next thing I know, she was eating beef. She said, that's all they had. What? So the situation shaped. Yeah. That wasn't a core value for you. Okay. Core values don't change. They stay the same wherever you are.
Yeah.
I didn't say, oh, well, all they had was meat, so I'm going to eat meat. I just did not eat. So you have to be prepared to take your core values with you. They don't change depending on the circumstances.
Yeah. So in other words, just going back to what you said about conviction. Conviction and your core values are, they're like synonymous per se.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. I know a lot of people are saying, okay, protein powders. I can at least have that. I can have a protein shake. What's your view on protein powders?
Why? If you are a person who athletes who go really hard, they go really hard in the gym.
Yeah.
And they're breaking their muscles down and they're drinking the protein powder to rebuild their muscles. Okay, I understand them because they're going really hard and heavy in the gym, and they're breaking their muscles down, and the protein helps build and repair. That's fine for them. Just get a high quality protein shake if you want. You really don't need it because people are worried about protein intake when really Americans are consuming too much protein.
Okay. Because
we're only supposed to eat a palm. If you eat meat, a palm, the size of your palm. People are eating big burgers and all these different pieces of chicken and the big base. You have too much protein at this point. You don't need to worry about protein. But I personally don't believe in protein shakes because if you look at the ingredients, pea isolate. Let's say if you're not a person who consumes meat or dairy, pea isolate. So they've extracted this from this pea. Now it's just this dust, and you're not getting all the benefits that you would if you just ate the pea. It's so crazy that we would rather run to something that has been manipulated and extracted in the lab versus just going to the natural source. If you want peas, just eat peas.
Yeah.
If you want, you know what I mean? Now, shakes do have a benefit, but the protein part is what I have a problem with because we don't need as much protein. If you eat a regular diet, you have enough protein.
Okay.
If you know what I mean, that's not something people need to focus more on the micronutrients versus the macros, the vitamins and minerals versus protein, fat, and carb. Because if you just eat every day, you're going to hit the criteria every day without even thinking about it. Okay. You don't need a protein shake unless, like I said, you're a high level athlete.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So let me ask you this, Coach Jay, how can people get a hold of you if they want to, incorporate you into their lifestyle, try to get them into the vegan lifestyle? How can they get a hold of you for training now that you're doing online and Zoom? How can people get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Okay, my Instagram is, let me say my coaching goes the Black Health Academy. And you just go hit the tab for private coaching. And then from there, you can just follow the prompts for coaching. Make sure you put the in front of the Black Health Academy, because if you don't put the in front of it, you may end up on another website. So the Black Health Academy, private coaching. You can follow me on Facebook at Get Fit with Jay. That's Jaye. Or you can follow me on Instagram at Jay Struthers. That's Jaye Struthers, Struthers.
All right. Thank you for that. Hey, Coach, can you leave us with some words of wisdom? Because God knows, I'm like, man, she is like the guru. She is a spiritual woman. She is all that. I'm like, man, thank God for this woman. So, hey, Coach, can you leave us with some words of wisdom?
Sure. So my words of wisdom today would be focus on a mutually benefiting relationship with your food, meaning your body needs something from you and you need something from your body. You need to give your body what it needs to do what you need it to do. Just like any relationship in your life, when you're a child, we just play with whoever wants to play with us. But as we get older, we look for people who benefit our lives, and then we, in turn, benefit their lives. That's the same thing with food. You want to eat food that benefits your body so that your body can benefit you. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. We have to stop eating things just because they taste good. Food serves a purpose. That's to keep you here, to keep you healthy, and to keep all of your organs functioning properly. So when you think of your plate, think of it as a multivitamin to give you all the things that you need so that you can have longevity in your life.
Wow, thank you for that. I appreciate you, Coach. Hey, look, we got to do another episode because I want to talk about seriously. I want to talk about, is it possible for a person that is vegan to date a person that's not vegan?
Okay, we can talk about this. And before I go, can I say one more thing? Because
yes.
You had a question that I didn't get an opportunity to answer about COVID-19.
Okay.
But I'm just going to say one thing about it. I won't go into the whole spiel. Guys, I know you know about washing your hands and doing all the social distancing. One of the things that's highly important is stress. And stress, I don't know if you know this, but when you get an organ, let's say a kidney or a heart transplant, the first thing they do is give you a stress hormone so that your body can not reject this different organ because it's shutting your immune system down. So if they're giving you a stress hormone during a surgery to shut your immune system down so it doesn't try to fight off this foreign object, that's the same thing it does when you're not getting surgery. So when you're in the regular ward and you're feeling stress, it is shutting down your immune system, allowing foreign things to invade, such as COVID-19. So we have got to work on the way we manage our stress. I know we're washing our hands, we're social distancing, we're eating, the different things to try to, but that stress is one of the number one things, that and gut health. We got to focus on our digestive system. Got to eat better so that, because 70% of our immune system is in our gut. So between stress and the way we eat, the bacteria in our gut, that is the number one way to fight off COVID.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. What about can we incorporate ginger, apple cider vinegar, for gut health?
You can incorporate those things. but they don't work the way they need to work if you're not eating the way you're supposed to eat. Don't put that on top of, a diet that's not working for you. That works well for you if you're eating right.
Okay.
But if you're still eating the highly processed food, eating all the sugar and all of those different things, you don't have a healthy gut. So you can eat all the ginger you want and all the turmeric you want, but that's not going to help you until you start eating correctly in your digestive system, and have the fiber that helps regulate your digestive tract working right. Until you get that together, your ginger and all those different things on top of that is not going to really do you much good.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, Coach, I'm telling you, yeah. You know what? I might start seeing if we could do something once a month. Because it's like, you got the flu season right now. People are like, oh my God, flu season and COVID. Just because the other day my doctor told me, he said, hey, look, I want you to take a flu shot because I don't want to risk you getting COVID and on top of that the flu. So I was like, all right. And normally I haven't had a flu shot in years, but because of the season that we're in, I'm like, all right, doc, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, that's a whole episode how doctors, and I don't know the intentions behind every single doctor, but I know that it's not enough coaching to tell people how to boost their immune. You can give them the flu shot and you can tell them, but your diet is really, really, really what affects your health, keeps your immune system up, keeps you alive, keeps your heart strong, keeps your arteries clear. So until we start getting our diets together, all the shots, pills, potions in the world are not going to do much good. They're going to just alleviate the symptoms.
Okay. I'm glad you said that, because that's what I believe that they're doing right now. Even with the with the studies, I'm like, they ain't gonna cure this. I'm like, nah, man. The drug companies, they don't cure nothing. They help you deal with symptoms, and that's just my personal belief.
Yeah. I asked one lady. I'm sorry, I know we got to go. I asked one lady. She said she don't have blood pressure medication. I said, okay, good. You're keeping your blood pressure low. We don't want you to have anything happen to you. But what's the plan to get off the medication? Did they talk to you about that? She looked at me like, what? Plan to get off? What are you even talking about? Yeah. No, they gave me the medication and told me when to get my refill. Like, it's just a really sad situation we're in.
Yeah, it is. It's, they teach you to live with it, but what I'm starting to see is we have different people and different voices, like Dr. Sebi. He was showing people through plant-based diets and living that they could reverse anything. And then, they start to, blackball him and then, next thing you know, he's gone. So I'm like, It just seems like once you figure out a way to cure yourself just by using plant-based, it seems like the drug companies and everything, man, they swarm against you. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I really don't get it. That's just my personal opinion. But, it's just one of those things. So hey, Coach, I want to say I appreciate you. I thank you for your words of wisdom and your knowledge and your passion for what you do in the community. So I just want to say thank you for that. So, hey, look, you take and have a blessed day, and we definitely got to come back. I definitely want to do that episode about a vegan person that's in the vegan lifestyle dating a person that's not, and can it work?
Yes, it can. So we'll talk about that on another episode.
All right, then. Thank you. I appreciate you, Coach. Have a blessed one.
Okay, you're welcome. You too.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, guys, that was Get Fit with Jay. Oh, my God. I can't wait for this episode to drop, and I can't wait for us to return and do the whole thing, because I've always wondered, can a vegan person date a person that's not in the lifestyle? Here it is. You trying to eat, you eating vegan food, and they, hey, babe, I was thinking about you. I brought you an Impossible Whopper. I'm not eating that. So, hey, we are going to talk about it. We are definitely going to talk about a whole lot of things in season 2 of the Brother Leon Show. So we're going to deal with relationships. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about money. We are going to talk about those things that are not mentioned. and how we fall in love, and how sometimes we fall in love with the imagination of a person versus the reality of a person. So with that being said, guys,
walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.